Okay, it's Renee and I'm back here, and we are talking about the six human needs. Now, this is my nutshell version. You would have been sent the PDF that explains them all, but I'm going to read some notes that I've taken, and this is all from my relationship mastery little workshop that I do. So, and some of the stuff we've been working through as well. But I want you to go back to the six human needs that you're now aware of where you're what are the top ones for you. So it's really important to know, well, what are they? But, well, why are they important? Because they make us feel fulfilled as a human being in ourselves and relationships. But how do we even get them met? And it's important, again, as I've said, to meet them for yourself and then have your partner meet them and vice versa, because how can you meet your partner's needs to a 10 out of 10? Might be a big ask, might not, but why shouldn't we be aiming for that? So I'm just going to read a little bit about these, and if I could speak right now, but the six fundamental human needs are certainty, significance, variety, love and connection, growth and contribution. Now, I always say that we all need to have fun, because I do believe that couples that even when they can't communicate properly, when they're out having fun together, that makes for a more passionate, ignited, evolved relationship than a lot of other things. So think about adding in some fun as well. Now, the four primary needs are the certainty, variety, significance, love, and connection. And the other two needs, the growth and contribution, are the spiritual needs. Most people have contribution as a high level. When they've reached a certain level of success as well, financially, a lot of people then want to give back to charities and do that sort of work. But they can vary for everybody. And they can differ between all of us, because remember, there's no right and wrong. I have said that sometimes when we're seeking certainty and significance in a relationship as our top two needs, that they can be not a very healthy top two to run by. So you need to check in which one's driving you. Well, you know, because I've sent you the quiz. So also, what need then shows up in your life when you're experiencing stress, fear, angst, or difficulty? So just check in with that. And regardless of what you're thinking that you want or you would like, when you're in the midst of a super stressful time, just check in and see what tends to show up. Where are you spending your most of your time in the relationship and in other areas of life? What is the primary need that drives your life? And then how are these going to get met in a resourceful way? Because often we can have these needs met in an unresourceful way that then becomes an addiction. And that can be something like taking drugs, drinking too much alcohol, because we'll meet the need for variety. You'll meet the need, I guess, for comfort. Somewhere it brings you comfort when you're taking those things. You'll probably get some love and connection or some significance, and those needs being met with that need, when it's met with it unresourcefully, those three ones, it will become an addiction. So just have that as an awareness. And I guess when you know the quiz that I've sent you, so you do know what's the driving force for you. And then with that particular need, go back and really be honest about how are you getting them met? Because we're all driven by something, and we all do need certain levels of certainty, right? Such as shelter. We know that we need food and that to survive, because that clearly I don't need to explain why. And significance is it can just make you feel unique and special, and there's nothing wrong with that. So just check in and see, well, how am I feeling significant? How do I make myself feel significant? And then look at the connection, look at contribution, and look at the ways around your environment in which you can express that as well. Maybe it's caring for other people, or volunteering at a charity or something like that. Who knows? But these needs, we really need to get them met, so that we are feeling fulfilled within life. And there is no greater gift that you can give yourself than getting those needs met in a resourceful way. And that makes one really happy human being. So for example, if we talk about certainty, comfort, potentially that could be that someone has a mission to achieve more in life, more goals. It could be the ability to produce or eliminate or even avoid stress, or to create and increase and intensify pleasure. And in relationships, certainty comes that you're certain that you are comfortable with that person. It's where we have pleasure to avoid pain. And then when we get into survival mode, that's the survival, the security, that can sometimes be opposing somewhere. Because, as I've said before, sometimes relationships, while we want to feel safe in it, because we want a man to protect our heart, and men, you need a lady to be there for you while you've got freedom, that she's open to you, she's not criticizing or controlling you. And ladies, we need to know, to make us sort of feel comfortable in the relationship, that he's there to protect our heart, that we feel heard, we feel understood, and we feel appreciated. So we've just got to know how to get all that met in a really healthy way. Sometimes we can have control come up when we're looking for certainty. And ladies, that's the last thing a man wants. But maybe certainty could, and a negative effect of certainty can be in the relationship. Someone has learned helplessness, where they know that if they're either unwell, they will get attention. That means significance. So we can get them met unresourcefully, and it's just a matter of having an awareness on where has that showed up. Going back to certainty and comfort, it can be that we need to have some routine in life, because we need to know where that person's going to be. It just helps keep life more stable when we have it that way. So just look where else can you get that met. Now, sometimes there can be empowering and disempowering, or as I've said, unresourceful or resourceful ways to get these needs met. So I just want you to maybe do a bit of an exercise here where you can write down all the empowering and disempowering ways that you currently get certainty. And in the relationship, how well are you meeting your partner's needs for certainty on a scale of 0 to 10, the way they want it? Which would come down to some love languages, and you've already got that information. And then ask yourselves too, what do you think needs to change to make it a 10? And just sit with it. And then you can go on and talk about uncertainty or variety, which is where there's surprise, there's excitement, there's change, diversity. And as they say, variety is the spice of life. And in relationships, variety and challenges exercise our emotional and physical range. So that's how you can get some variety met. Sometimes self-sabotage could actually be giving you variety. So really just check in. You know, some people want to pick a fight when things are going along really well. But are you self-sabotaging that? And again, with each of these needs, make sure you're writing down how you're meeting your partner's needs, how they want to a 10 out of 10, and what do you think needs to change to make it a 10 out of 10. Significance, again, this needs to be separate from getting love. So in relationships, every single person needs to feel special and important, needed and wanted, and like they matter. It's the sense of being needed, a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning, feeling important and the uniqueness that everybody has. That's what makes us feel significance. And how we can also get significance, I guess, in an unresourceful way, that's where people tear other people down. And sometimes us humans are good at that. Sometimes acts of violence actually brings about significance because it's getting a need met in a very unresourceful way. Good ways about getting significance is someone, who has a lot of style, who potentially has tattoos or whatever. I know sometimes the way that I dress is how I get significance. Like, we're all human and we're all allowed to have these needs met. It can be things like material possessions, which is okay if that's what that's the lifestyle that you want to lead. It can even be having children that gives someone significance, because then they matter to somebody else. And that is a different kind of love, by the way, that'll come up later on, I'm sure. It can be, achieving academic degrees. It can just be caring for somebody else and going out of your way. So again, it's about writing down all the empowering and disempowering ways that you get significance, and how well do you think you're meeting your partner's need for significance on a scale of 0 to 10 in the way that they want it, and what do you think needs to change to make it a 10 out of 10? And it really is important to remind each other how much you matter to each other, admire all the good in your partner, and look at the good. So the next one I'm going to talk to you about right now is love and connection. And I guess this is what drives us humans specifically, is that need to be in a relationship with somebody else and connected to other human beings, whether it's friendship circles, business circles, romantic circles. And it's something that everybody strives for on some level. It's a form of bonding, sharing, feeling a part of something, intimacy. And the way we can also achieve those is sympathy through sickness is one, or an injury or a problem. Commit a negative act, again, like doing drugs or a crime. Gangs even, they're negative ways of doing that. Spirituality can also give us connection and love, or relationships with friends and families and others. Joining a team or a club, following that hobby gives you a form of connection. Being out in nature, being grounded gives you connection. Obviously, sex and intimacy is a way of getting connection. Sometimes people self-sacrifice their needs and feel like they're connecting, but that could be a really disempowering way to get it. Having pets, getting love from your pets, which is a good thing, because then they don't repeat everything you say and remember it 3 months later, right? They actually do what they're told most of the time. So again, I want you to be able to write down the empowering and disempowering ways that you currently get love and connection. And again, how well do you meet your partner's needs for love and connection in the way that they want? And then what do you think needs to change to make it a 10 out of 10? So that's 4 of them. Now we're going to talk about growth. And I hope you realize you can pause me at any time, because I know this one's a long one. But growth is, everything is either growing or dying, ripe or rotting. And we need to constantly be developing emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually to live a fulfilling life. Otherwise, we do plateau and we do get sad and depressed. So the ways that we get that is through learning, taking a course, obviously hanging out with me, being here, reading, taking on new challenges, going into uncertainty in a resourceful way. Now, that's not to say you're going to take on a new challenge that pushes you way, way outside the comfort zone and decide I'm going to run for, to be the police commissioner or something silly that's really not even achievable. So we want to stretch that little comfort zone and gradually stretch it even more and more, because nothing good happens inside the comfort zone. So again, think about how you're meeting your your partner's need for growth in the way that they want it, which is why I say to couples, and why the other video series is there about having goals, a vision, and knowing that when you set a goal, it's timely, right? So it's not even sometimes about achieving the goal, it's who do you become along the way of achieving the goal. And then you set new goals, keep moving the goalposts and growing and evolving as an individual and as a couple. And again, what do you think needs to change to make it a 10 out of 10? And how can you do that? And then lastly is contribution. So we all do desire to go beyond our own needs to give to others. And everything in the universe contributes beyond itself, or it then becomes eliminated in a big picture sort of thinking. And the potential ways to get that, as I've said, is give to charity, giving love to people, appreciating people, supporting others in their life and their journey who are less fortunate perhaps. Again, in your relationship, how well are you meeting your partner's needs for contribution on a scale out of 0 to 10 the way they want it? And what do you think needs to change to make it a 10 out of 10? And remember, these are really good exercises to do and then share and talk about it, but without the emotion of, I've done something wrong, because you've never spoken about this before, so how would you know? So that, I believe, is it. And I guess the 7th need would be to have fun. How can you have fun together? And what is fun together? Making laughter, having jokes, doing fun things as a family as well, not just the two of you, but all of you together. And these needs sort of sit above any values work as well, because people will give up their values to get their needs met. So these are the ones that are the driving force of a fulfilling life. So I hope this, along with the other video I've sent you, gives you a bit more of an understanding and a much deeper awareness about how important these are. And thanks for sticking by this particular video series. I'm really looking to hearing back from you about what awarenesses you've got. How are you getting things met unresourcefully? Because some of this is just penny drop moments of, oh my God, that's why I'm doing that. And just check in anything that's been a disempowering need or habit. What 3 needs were being met? So one action, what action have you done that was disempowering that actually had 3 of your needs met? And I guess specifically where we have been talking about infidelity recently, this is and I've probably mentioned this before as well, that often to get that, there's variety, there's significance, and love and connection are being met. Or it could just be that there's certainty, because you're certain you're going to feel a certain way, you're going to feel significant, your ego as well, and then the variety. It might be nothing about the love. So just know that there's a few different ways to look at this, and just be open and honest. And that's when you'll get real epiphanies, breakthroughs, aha moments that you can shift. So see you on the next video.